looking at part four of this notes on trigonometry. And we've got two guest students in here. If you wonder what everybody's up to when school's closed, some people are at home studying, some people are, bunkered down in their basements. Riley went out for a swim, and Anna was riding around on a speedboat on this problem. So as you read through this, the next phase of sort of this unit is getting into word problems. And I can see I don't have all of it on there. I'll tilt the video here in a minute. But you've got Riley up here. There she is at the top of a cliff, thinking about jumping off here at Red Rocks. Contemplating it. She's 73 feet up on a cliff. So she's way the heck up there. You guys certainly want to label the drawing with that information. There we go. Hopefully that shows up for y'all. And then down here's Anna, speeding along. Now this is called an angle of decline. Anna would normally be looking along the horizon, straight across here. If you think about it, people usually walk looking forwards. She looks at an angle of decline, which means her head or eyes have to turn and rotate downwards to see where Anna is. Oh, there's Anna down there. First question is, what's Anna's angle of incline looking up at Riley? So Anna would normally be looking along the water here, straight across. She then has to turn her head and look upwards. So if the normal angle here is 0 degrees, how much does she turn her head to see this line of sight? Now you might have to think you have to calculate something for that. You don't have to calculate anything. This angle down here would also be 21. And there's a reason why up here kind of connects us to the last unit we were talking about in last year. Those are alternate interior angles. And the little Z shape you see on here, hopefully you recognize that, tells you that these are parallel lines because normal line of sight is horizontal. Those are both 21. So hopefully that concept makes sense. That's going to be coming up next week. I'm going to talk about applications of trig in that specific scenario. That's part A. Part B is where you jump into the trig, and it's beautiful, isn't it? It's a social distancing question on here. So are they supposed to be 6 feet apart? Are they 6 feet apart? Well, gosh, I hope so. She's 73 feet off the cliff. Of course, they're going to be 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart or more. So the idea is you want to figure out how far apart they are. Well, if she's up here, Anna's down here, how far apart they are is this distance. That's the hypotenuse. That's the, if you took out a tape measure and measured how far apart they are, you'd have to measure from the boat all up to the top of the cliff. So you're trying to find a value, I'm going to call it C for the hypotenuse. And you have an angle, and you have a height across from it. So opposite and a hypotenuse. Almost said adjacent there, forget that value. So the sine of 21, and you could do this by drawing an altitude way over here as well and get the same type of triangle, a congruent triangle, do it that way. There's your ratio. 73 divided by C should allow you to solve for that hypotenuse, how far apart Anna and Riley are. A little bit of calculation, and it should have ended up being a little over 200 feet, 203.7 feet, which is plenty of social distancing, so they are good citizens. They are doing their part. Great job. There's part B, and then part C is if Riley jumps off and lands right on the edge of the cliff over here close to this, and let's say Anna does not want to pick her up because she's social distancing here, does not want to get too close, and Riley's doesn't want to climb up the cliff, she decides to swim across here to Anna's boat. How far does she have to go? Well, you're finding another side of the triangle. You're finding, I'm going to call that B. Hard to see there, but there's my B, which would encourage you to use a tangent ratio. And you'll see I'm not using this hypotenuse in my calculation. I'm using a tangent ratio. I'm using the exact 73 instead of using that rounded value. It's one way you could do this. Now you'll notice, where the heck did the 69 degrees come from? Probably easier to use this complementary angle here instead of the 21, because now I can just multiply 73 times the tangent of 69. You certainly could do this a different way, but hopefully you get a number smaller than 203, because it's got to be less than the hypotenuse. Hopefully it ends up being around 190.2 feet, which is a great distance for exercise. It's really important you guys get outside and exercise. So I want to just mention, great job, Riley. Get some exercise during this time of social distancing. Very healthy choice. Well done. So just one quick reminder, submit your work on Schoology so I can give you a little check mark. Just like I would in class, this is my way of checking notes. Have a great day. And the follow-up of this is take a little quiz. I think it's an 8-question quiz, shouldn't take you very long, but it does have a time limit. Have your calculator handy and have a scratch paper handy.